using, it creates wobbles, and then it's just a matter of how strong the earnings picture is in the stock market to withstand those wobbles. And today, the earnings picture is better than a year ago, and that should make the market more resilient than it was a year ago to rising rates.
Reports of someone who died and another person treated for smoke inhalation after the lights overheated. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the Good Earth rechargeable integrated lights have batteries that can overheat and cause the unit to catch on fire. The lights were sold at hardware and home improvement stores, including Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and Meijer, as well as online between October 2017 and January 2024. If you have any of these lithium-ion battery-powered lights, you're advised to stop using them immediately. A new Hunger Games book and movie are on the way. Author Suzanne Collins is working on the 5th installment of the dystopian series titled Sunrise on the Reaping. The new book is set 24 years before the original Hunger Games novel and will be released March 18th, 2025. The film adaptation will be released the following year on November 20th, 2026. Francis Lawrence, who has worked on all but the first Hunger Games movie, will return as director, though actors for the new film had not yet been released. All the
Your America and my America.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Have they proven the younger Biden lied on the gun registration form? Arlene Richards has the latest from today's testimony. Former President Trump is reportedly closer to picking a running mate for this year's election. Arian Postar brings us the list with the names of possible candidates.
Now the question for us is, in our trial, will we do ours?
Biden gave a speech this morning at the Normandy American Cemetery, which is technically American soil, as the French gifted the land to the U.S. after the war. More than 70,000 U.S. troops joined Allied forces for the daring D-Day operation, which, despite heavy casualties, marked the largest seaborne invasion in human history and paved the way for the Nazis' defeat in Europe. President Biden meeting with surviving veterans who fought in Normandy, most into the late 90s and some over 100. This could be the last major commemoration in which these veterans are alive to bear witness.
Let us be worthy of their sacrifice.
Biden also invoked common themes in his 2024 pitch, among which defending democracy.
We defend democracy. We stand together.
Bolstering NATO.
Isolationism was not the answer 80 years ago and is not the answer today.
And supporting Ukraine.
We will not walk away.
And on Friday, Biden will give another speech in Normandy, this time focused on freedom and democracy and targeting audiences at home in the U.S. In that speech, he's expected to contrast himself with his 2024 rival, former President Trump, and highlight the, quote, dangers of isolationism. And Biden over the weekend is also expected to meet with French President Emmanuel Macron in his first state visit to France as president. It all comes as revitalizing alliances remains a top agenda in Biden's 2024 campaign. Reporting from Normandy, France, Iris Tao, NTD News.
Federal
purchased the gun. Cleveland had testified that he watched the younger Biden fill out the form and that he didn't ask for any help. The defense attempted to get testimony about store employees, later altering the form, but the judge ruled earlier that it was
irrelevant.
For Thursday, later into the week, big weather topics continue to be the heat, along with chances for some more storms along the eastern seaboard. Excessive heat warnings, heat advisories from California going towards New Mexico and even into Texas. We could be talking about temperatures here close to 100 plus degrees, and even still from Oklahoma, Texas, along the eastern seaboard. More storm chances into tonight. Much more on these weather stories coming up.
Storms with damaging tornadoes hitting parts of Maryland Wednesday, leaving at least one person seriously hurt. The Storm Prediction Center says there were 10 tornado reports from Maryland as of Wednesday night. Officials say the strong storms brought torrential downpours and powerful wind gusts throughout the state, with streets flooding and several people needing to be rescued from their cars due to the substantial rise in water. Emergency crews say they used life rafts to save several trapped people. It comes as other parts of the country deal with a brutal heat dome that is escalating. We have new.
Former Doraville police officer Miles Bryant is accused of kidnapping and killing 16-year-old Susana Morales as she walked home from a friend's house back in July of 22. Gwinnett County Police Lieutenant Xavier Biggers investigated Morales' disappearance, and he took the stand today, breaking down multiple times while giving his testimony.
The anguish and the sadness and the that the mother posed it. I have a daughter the same age, and my wife is Hispanic, and it really touched me that I felt that it was my duty to try to find her.
In response, the defense asked about the victim's school suspension history, drug use, and social media posts. Lieutenant Biggers said he didn't think those details were relevant to Morales' disappearance. Coming up, President Joe Biden's new executive order is now in effect at the southern border, but is it working? An update from Southern California.
No, it ain't working.
To download the Fox Local app, search Fox Local. Illegal immigration is having along the southern border. Fox's Bill Malugin is in Tacoma, California with the story.
CBP sources tell Fox Border Patrol apprehended about 4,000 illegal immigrants the same day President Biden's new executive order took effect at the southern border, an order that bans asylum for illegal immigrants, with some exceptions. Take it up. Fox News witnessed this mass crossing into Jacumba, California this morning, as roughly 200 migrants from all around the world decided to illegally enter the U.S., apparently unafraid or unaware of President Biden's threats to deport them under his new order. Where are you from? Mauritania. China. Where are you from? India. I am from Brazil. In San Diego this morning, Fox News was on scene as Border Patrol mass released illegal immigrants at a local trolley station. They are now free to travel around the U.S. following their release from federal custody. We also encountered this mass illegal crossing in Jacumba, predominantly made up of Venezuelan and Colombian nationals. And they also are not concerned about Biden's new order, which can drop during periods of lower crossings, but can also be reapplied if Border Patrol sees an average of 2,500 illegal crossings in 7 days. ¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Too many.
California.
Coming in. Way too many.
Tengo unos familiares allá.
A Nueva York. ¿Nueva York? ¿Por qué?
Allá tengo familia, me esperan allá.
¿Y usted, señor, a dónde vas en los Estados Unidos? San Diego? ¿Por qué?
Allá tengo trabajo.
Jobs.
Notably, President Biden's
Americans'
executive order exempts
jobs.
unaccompanied children. And we got brand new CBP data from our sources showing that since President Biden first took office, more than 500,000, 503,000 of these unaccompanied children have arrived at the U.S. border. Reporting in Jacumba,
And then
California.
whose hands are they in right now?
Georgia Senator John Ossoff says more needs to be done to strengthen border security. Senator Ossoff sent a letter to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland pressing the Biden administration to prioritize prosecution of high-level human smuggling and drug trafficking organizations. The senator says the organizations are making billions of dollars per year moving people and drugs. Ossoff says he wants the Justice Department to focus more resources on prosecuting criminal leadership.
Removing the leaders and the key figures in these transnational organized crime groups can disrupt their operations in a way that a low-level interdiction or a low-level prosecution at the border cannot.
Ossoff says Congress failing to pass a bipartisan border security measure leaves the U.S. at risk in terms of our national security.
Finish the wall. Close the border.
Talk about the forecast.